straw hat flew onto Nobita's head. The next second, Nobita's body began to shrink. Eventually, he shrank to the size of an inch. Doraemon looked like a giant right in front of him. Nobita was so scared that he turned and ran. Doraemon grabbed him in an instant. Now they were going to use the hat to punish Jian because Jian had stolen his ice cream. Nobita urged Doraemon to help him return to normal. After Doraemon took off the hat, Nobita's body quickly expanded back to its original size. Then, Nobita grabbed the hat and headed out. On the way, he ran into Shizuka. Nobita decided to use the straw hat to play a prank on Shizuka, so he put on the hat and shrank his body. Shizuka suddenly heard Nobita's cry, but she couldn't find Nobita anywhere. At that moment, Nobita was right at Shizuka's feet. He had crawled right onto the top of her foot. At first, Shizuka thought she had misheard. She didn't pay it any mind, but Nobita kept calling out to her. Shizuka was so scared she started running. No matter how hard Nobita tugged, the hat remained firmly stuck on his head. Just then, the ground suddenly began to shake. The towering Jian walked right past him. At that moment, Jian was enjoying the food he had stolen. Nobita shouted in anger, but his voice was too faint. Jian couldn't make out a word he said, so he turned and walked away. Nobita tried to chase after him, but couldn't catch up. Just then, Tsuneo came over with a fishing rod. Nobita decided to ask Tsuneo for help. He fumbled around and found a coin. The sound of the coin hitting the ground caught Tsuneo's attention. Tsuneo bent down to look for it and spotted the shrunken Nobita. Nobita begged Tsuneo to take him to find Doraemon. Tsuneo readily agreed, but added a condition. He actually tied Nobita to the fishing line as bait. Nobita struggled constantly, but it was no use. Tsuneo sat nearby, waiting for a fish to take the bait. Soon, a big fish set its sights on Nobita. Nobita was terrified and scrambled to dodge it. Tsuneo sensed the line tugging and hurriedly reeled it in. As a result, the big fish swam right away. Nobita tied the hook to Tsuneo's pants. He tugged on the fishing line to mislead Tsuneo. Tsuneo thought a fish had taken the bait and started reeling in the line. As a result, he pulled too hard. His pants were instantly ripped off by the fishing line. Tsuneo immediately ran home. Meanwhile, Nobita hadn't forgotten to settle the score with Jian. On the way, he came across a small puddle. Nobita tried to go around it. However, a big dog by the roadside kept barking furiously at him. Luckily, he found a bottle cap, so he used the bottle cap as a boat and successfully reached the other side. On the other side, Shizuka, holding an ice cream, ran into Jian. Jian pretended to ask to borrow the ice cream. Seeing this, Nobita immediately warned Shizuka. Hearing the noise, Jian began looking around. Soon, he found Nobita hiding behind a pillar. Nobita, seeing this, scrambled to escape, but the shrunken Nobita was no match for Jian. In the end, Jian caught him. Unwilling to give up, Nobita bit down hard on Jian's hand. In pain, Jian flung his hand away. Nobita slid onto Jian's back. Then, Nobita began scratching the back of his hand, relentlessly. Tormented by the pain, Jian begged for mercy. Finally, Jian agreed to return the ice cream to Nobita. To thank Nobita, Shizuka walked him home.